Hello and welcome to The Final Bell, the official Geelong Cats podcast, as I just keep dropping my pen, fumbling. Maybe that's a little theme of the week. The Cats fumbled a little bit on Sunday, unfortunately, against the Demons, and the D's got the win by 25 points at a wet and very, very cold MCG. They're going to bounce back against North Melbourne at GMHBA Stadium this Sunday. I've got my regular partner in crime with me again today, Scotty Gallen, Scotland. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Cameron. Now, you're in the crowd, I believe.
I wasn't. I was talking.
Very rare that you venture out in public to be with the masses. This is impressive me.
I had a rare Sunday afternoon off. I took my two boys, also my brother's eldest boy, who's down from Newcastle, and my dad to the MCG. We sat there with ponchos on and just got drenched and cold. But I was talking to a group of ladies who were sitting just near us who said they love the podcast.
Oh.
But they're missing Matthew Stokes. They want Stokesy back. So we'll have to get him on.
He's nearly due for a cameo.
I think so.
He's been holidaying in far hotter places than this, I think. So when he gets back into town, we'll get him in.
We'll grab Stokesy back on. Don't worry.
Probably best he's not in this week, though.
No, we're going to dissect that game, and it was not pretty for the Cats. I said 25 points for the Ds, but that probably flatters Geelong a little bit. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to maybe some changes, who might come in, who might jump out. Hopefully we'll have some fan questions. Just to get this off the top, reminder, Geelong fans who are coming along this Sunday afternoon, 4:40 game, against the Kangaroos at GMHBA Stadium. If you'd like to see a lap from a couple of the legends of the Geelong Football Club, get into your seats by 4 p.m. if you can. Gary Ablett Jr. and the great Harry Taylor, are going to do their farewell laps and chance for us as fans to show our appreciation for their wonderful careers, but also a great chance for them to say goodbye one last time to the brilliant fans here at Cardinia Park. So come along, get into your seats by 4 p.m. and watch Gaz and Harry do that lap of honour. Scotty?
How was your lap of honour, Cameron? They would have thrown things at you as you were driving around in the Ford Ute.
Laps are funny.
So when did anyone else retire on the same year as you?
Yes.
Lotto did, didn't he?
Otto did, Moons did, and Dasher did.
Did you do it all together, or you had your own, of course?
No, we did it all together. Okay. I think Dash joined in. He's not one for some of the accolades, but we did it. It's fun. It's so good to see all the fans, and it really warms the heart when you're going around and you get that appreciation from all the wonderful Geelong fans. But then about halfway around, you start sort of feeling awkward, like you're waving like the Queen does as at everyone and thinking, oh, wow, this is so good. But it's kind of embarrassing that everybody's there giving you a round of applause. But it is fantastic. And I'm sure Harry and Gaz will love it on the weekend. Hopefully the Cats win.
Well.
What? Let's talk about what happened.
Well, I didn't. So I went in not trusting Melbourne, which was a bit silly because I knew Geelong were a bit off. We had discussed they weren't exactly on all cylinders.
No.
But I thought they'd still find a way, and it was pretty obvious early that I was off the mark.
I had my suspicions right from the very start. I was worried Melbourne, I agree Melbourne aren't totally trustworthy until they prove that they are, and that might be happening this year, but I still felt right now they were playing football that would worry Geelong. Their speed of ball movement.
Yes.
Geelong does not want speed on the game right now.
We have discussed that at length and we're concerned. But what is alarming, and all those shows which I try not to watch because they're all the same, your Monday night shows, you've probably got one.
No, I don't watch any.
Okay. But they do come up with some stats. The defence, which last year was unbelievable in all statistical departments.
Yes.
They're just getting scored on a lot. Now, I know Scarlett likes to blame the midfielders, and of course it all is part of but one-on-one they're getting better. There's an issue.
Yeah, it's all linked. The way they move the ball,
yes,
and I know that's attack and offense, is directly related to how they defend. When you are not taking the ball forward, and you're not taking the ball forward in a dangerous manner where it's getting deep entries and genuine. If it's a one-on-one to Hawkins and, hopefully marks it, goes back and kicks a goal, well, then the opposition doesn't have the footy. But even if it's getting to him and it comes to ground and it's trapped in the Cats' forward line for a little bit, deep in their forward line,
You can set up what
so much easier
Yes.
to defend. But when they're going super cautious at half back, maybe one a little bit forward, but then sideways and then backwards a little bit, and all the opposition is doing is getting more and more confident to squeeze up, compact the ground down. So then when the eventual turnover happens, and it does, and it will, they go bang. They've only got to transfer the ball maybe half the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And any defenders struggle with that. And they're Geelong are getting scored on. Throw in the fact that they also got slaughtered in contested ball.
Well, this has been a problem previously. This is not new ground for me to take in.
No. So personnel a little bit. Dangerfield not being there is maybe 15 contested possessions
absolutely.
a game. I get that. But they got destroyed by Gawn, Oliver, Petrarca, Viney.
What the Shark, we love him. He was on Oliver as predicted to start with. Then what happened the second half? Did we just give up on it because we had to try and win the game? Is that what happened, or what happened?
No,
Or was he just getting beaten? So Shark back to the halfback flank.
Okay, talking from a tagger's perspective here,
Yes.
playing a run with role. When the opposition is completely dominating every facet of the game, and I mean hit outs, stoppage structures, clearances, contested ball. If you're playing on Oliver, if Petrarca's dominating and getting the
he
footy,
was off the leash,
and Viney's joining in, and Brayshaw's joining in, and it's all just working, good luck. If you're playing on a great player, and you usually are when you're tagging, good luck stopping them, because you just know that the opposition has got the footy in their hands, and they're giving, and good players are good enough to get a little bit of a break, which gets them involved, and they just get the footy. You rely so much on, as playing run with role, on everybody working together around the congestion and around the stoppage. So stopping a Lockie Neal a couple of weeks ago would have been 80% of Mark O'Connor's job that he did. But the other 20% would have been the fact that Geelong midfielders worked as a really good unit for the majority of the game. Selwood was terrific, and they've got all the exits covered. The ruckman's breaking even, and it's coming into a certain predictable part. So your job as a tagger is so much easier. But when it's just completely dominated like it was on the weekend, well, I don't blame Mark O'Connor for not being able to stop
I'm not having
a
to go
Premier
with the
player.
Shark. No.
I say it stops with the fact that as a group, they just got slaughtered.
One of the key debates in selection meeting this week, you'd think, like Max Gawn's a gun. He's the best in the league.
Yep.
Clearly. Him and Nick Nat by the length of the straight.
Agree.
So tough gig for Reece Stanley, and we understand that, but he hasn't had a great month. At some point, you have to... Unfortunately, he's been the only one there, in a way. Darcy Fort is now fit, has played a couple of games in practice matches. Big Sav played a half.
That's exciting.
Is that enough? Not sure. Poor old Reece, we have to look at him. Well, it's not working.
No, it certainly didn't work on the weekend. And unfortunately for Reece, he got a chance to kick a goal in the last quarter and at least make things tense for Melbourne, and missed that as well.
The Cats were having a little surge.
Yeah, it was a horror day for him.
So what do? I mean, we've been down this track with Reece before. That's my only concern. He can play games out of the block that's just like, whoa, run, kick goals, athletic.
Often when he's feeling the heat and there's pressure for selection.
It's an interesting way. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, the heat's on. If he needs to know, the heat is right in his...
Yeah, and Asava playing a half, maybe that's not quite enough. I think overall for the whole season, I think Sav's the answer.
Of course, and I think they all know that. No, I think they all know down the track he is, and I think he said he likes the ruck.
So him in the ruck, obviously Jeremy Cameron coming in.
Now you got Cameron and Hawkins. You don't need Sav as a big third tall.
So hopefully Sav's okay. I wonder if it's Darcy Fort. Just compete and give absolutely
bang
everything.
Into Goldstein and just make a contest.
I noticed on the weekend North Melbourne used Goldstein a lot forward with Campbell in the ruck.
Oh, former Footscray great.
Yes.
I didn't know he was still playing AFL. That's fantastic.
It's because you're too caught up in the current Footscray iteration.
Have we got half an hour to discuss that? I was in Ballarat watching the Premiers. Anyway, yes.
They are the real deal, by the way, the Dogs.
Of course they are.
A very, very good football team. I'm leaning towards Ford. my patience is wearing thin a little bit with Reece. I think what Reece can offer is the upside is there, but it's a few weeks in a row now where it hasn't worked. But we do focus in on the ruck so much, Scotty, in a position that shouldn't impact that much.
But no,
it's only when you allow the opposition to dominate you that it impacts.
But the Brodie Grundy argument is a very interesting one. I think Collingwood are at fault. And Bucks is big on, hit-outs don't mean anything. Hit-outs to advantage do, clearances do. And you cannot tell me that every coach would like an advantage Grundy has had in recent weeks, and they can't capitalise.
Agreed.
That's on their system, not on as much on – well, it's on Grundy as well.
And every time Geelong got a little surge going and went back to the middle, and it was just this feeling of Max Gawn's going to put it down the Melbourne midfielder's throat. And they're on the back foot again.
Digress. Now, what about –
well, can I ask –
Yes.
I want to give a little pump up, some positivity.
No, I'm going to go to them.
Isaac Smith.
He's been a outstanding citizen, which I knew. He's played the way we know he's played for 10 years.
He almost single-handedly got them back into the game on the weekend. Goals,
running, leg speed, knows where to run. Thank you very much.
Joel Selwood, excellent again, competing hard. Got caught a couple of times, but 14 contested possessions. He throws himself in there. Yeah. I thought Tom Stewart and Tom Atkins, both excellent.
I've found another one. Well, not found. I found him last year.
Who? Go on.
And then Frank the Tank. Brad Close is one of the cleanest young players. Cleanest with his hands. First grab in this team. Seriously, watch him.
No, I agree.
He's a one grabber.
Good overhead as well.
He's a one grabber. There's no fumble. You hate people fumbling, falling over. Our man B Close, he doesn't fall over. Love him.
I support that.
Thank you.
Good call.
It's good. Now, what happened to Maxie Holmes? I loved him, and then we didn't play him.
Well, that confused
how does that
me
work?
Too, given what worried me was the
He's got
Melbourne
leg speed
of ball movement.
They had Langdon on the wing. They had that Hunt, all those characters running crazily, and we play a kid last week who's got leg speed, who I thought he went okay.
I can only assume, Scotty, that he pulled up sore, perhaps 6-day break.
He's 18. He's not 28.
Yeah,
he's played one game.
Hang
on.
He
couldn't walk?
Hang on.
Well, why is he a medical sub? What if a bloke got knocked out in the minute one? Suddenly he's okay to play?
Hang on.
You don't select them if they're sore. He just got left out.
The soreness, the lack of soreness is probably age 21 to 27. Magical period where your body can cop anything.
You're right. So we debut and
I'm only guessing.
I can't believe it.
6-day break.
Now
does he come in this week?
I think do we need... I've got a long list of changes.
Okay, Brandon Parfitt comes back. That's the word from the club, that he late withdrawal, so he comes in. Patrick Dangerfield, solid footballer. I think he gets a gig.
Might help.
Gary Rowan is available.
Yeah, no, he has to play. They haven't, tackling forward pressure.
Jeremy Cameron, what are you hearing?
We keep hearing mixed messages. We see him out on the training track as we speak. Very, very close. Do you pull the trigger against North, which is, look, let's dress it up. Is it a fairly easy kill? Do you give him a soft landing like that? Or next week's West Coast down here?
Yep, on Saturday
in
afternoon.
A blockbuster? What would you do? So it sounds like he's 98% fit.
Given it's his second hamstring, he had one in pre-season.
Wait another week.
And now this one, I would wait another week.
Okay.
I would make absolute certain.
Now, I'll give you some names. Luke Dalhouse is a former Footscray premiership player. Close to my heart. My heart beats for Luke Dalhouse. He had no pre-season, and you know better than anyone. When you don't, it's hard. He's finding life real hard at the moment.
He is, and I think the combination of him and Myers is not working.
Correct. So something has to give. And if he needs a week to freshen up or have a mini 2-week something to get his body right. But this is the issue, not the issue, but they have to look at these scenarios.
Okay, let's tidy this up, Scotland, because we were positive. We want to.
I'm all positives, but when you lose by 4 goals and you've played average for 3 weeks.
So let's say Dangerfield comes in.
I'm going to select him.
Yes, you're going to select him. Parfitt comes back in.
Solid player, I'm going to select him.
Yeah, okay. You're saying Rowan is back in.
I know we're a bit off, Gary, but in his absence, they haven't done anything to keep him out.
Okay. Are you going to make a change with the ruck?
I'm calling it.
Okay. Fort?
In.
Unless Sava is better than we realise.
Well,
He only played a half on the weekend.
If half's enough, Sav, but maybe
Okay.
not.
Who are we taking out? So you've
Well,
brought
Sparkle-
Rowan in. Dalhouse is
I'd have Dalhouse resting.
out. Sparkle, Narkle maybe
Oh.
for Parfitt, but I thought Sparkle was
I
okay.
like Spark. I mean, I think I'm in a minority because I don't think he helps himself sometimes with his training and attitude, but I think he can play.
Reece is for
Reece.
perhaps.
Zach Guthrie came in. I mean, poor old Zach. I don't know where he lives in the lineup. He floats, but I'm not sure where his home is. So, Max Holmes or Zach Guthrie, I'd go Max Holmes.
Well, hang on. We need
know,
Zach Guthrie to make way for Dangerfield.
Well, he was the last one in, so he's probably
Dangerfield, Parfitt, Rowan, Fort for Guthrie, Narkle, Dalhouse, Reece,
Yes.
Stanley.
Yeah.
Do you want Maxi Holmes in?
I want Holmes in.
Well, who are you going to take out? You can't take your man Brad Close out.
No, he's practically captain.
You're not taking Reg out because you did that a few weeks ago.
Oh, Reg, again, please listen to the tape. I'll play it to you where I said the reason they lost in Adelaide is because you were left out and could have played and should have played.
Can I throw one at you that?
Jake Kolodjasny, how's he
Well,
travelling?
can I throw one at you that might get listeners a little bit
Oh.
up in arms?
I like
annoyed.
this.
I don't know. It's
Is this
just
controversial?
I'm just floating it. These are the conversations that might happen. Rowan comes back, and eventually Jeremy Cameron's coming in. Jack Henry won't be playing forward anymore. Now, please, everyone, just ignore the fact that bounce didn't bounce back up to him. That's a mistake that can happen on a footy field. You know, don't hang him for that. Jack Henry works extremely hard, takes a good mark, turned the game around against the Hawks.
Correct.
But Jack Henry goes back now with Rowan and then eventually Cameron coming in. Jake Kolodjasny can only play one.
Yeah, you can only play one. I think
So that's the discussion.
particularly
Cats
if
fans?
the Shark's not going to be tagging anyone against North Melbourne just quietly. Ben Cunnington got off, but he's one match back from a long break. You're not going to be tagging anyone.
Should Ben Cunnington have got off?
Yeah, fair bump. Bloke got up.
Fair bump. It got him in the head.
Brushed his head. Come on.
So you support only the outcome of the injured player determining the suspension, not the action of the...
I don't support what if this might have happened. What if? What if I drove down there and ran into a pole?
Okay.
What if?
But you still ran into a pole.
No, I didn't.
You've just
booked
didn't
me
get injured.
because I potentially could run into the pole.
Just because the pole didn't snap, it stayed upright and the power
kept
stayed
his
on.
shoulder. They're still bumping in that. You don't want any bumps.
Not that makes contact with the head. If
It
that's
brushed.
What we're
It barely touched the head.
Okay, what about Michael Gibbons? Who bumped him?
Yes, Harbrow. That was an
Harbrow.
act as he was picking up the ball.
Yeah, okay.
But he knew he was going to get him. We all know that because we've all played the game.
I was surprised by the outrage of that one when it was he was actually going down to win the ball.
I know, they're more outraged about that. But Cunnington, as a guy's about to kick, they go, oh, you could have tackled. Well, you know there's times you can't
But hang on, that's what Patrick Dangerfield did.
Correct.
He
got
just kicked.
way too much overs for that, where Sam Reid got 2 weeks for taking a guy out. Completely taking a guy out.
There we
That's where doesn't make sense.
go. No, because
Anyway.
it's outcome of the injured player versus the action
I don't
of
like
the bumper.
This could have caused injury. It didn't.
Okay, so that's fine. Come out and tell us that.
Yeah, but they don't. But they changed their mind. In the AFLW, that Brownlow medalist got off. She pole drived the girl into the ground
Now we're going to see with
and
the
got off.
AFLW Grand Final a key player for the Crows miss this week
Tipping they tried
because of concussion.
which throws up the argument, Cameron.
Do you support the week off before the AFL Grand
you and
Final
I
to
love-
clear all players?
You and I love NFL
Yes.
Super Bowl. So then you get rid of the bye after the season. Then you just flick it. That's not silly.
It'd be a big call. There'd be a lot of people up
And
in
you
arms
could-
saying, why we paused the season just before the Grand Final? What's going
Well,
on?
it works for the NFL. They're a bit different to us.
You'd have to get rid of the bye before the final.
That's what I mean. Yes, obviously that goes. So, well, yeah, there'd be a lot of people staying out in prelims when they're knocked out, going, "No, I'm fine." A lot of pressure on doctors to say, "Oh yeah," and the video showed he blacked out, but no, he's all good to go.
That would be the risk. We're jumping around topics here. I
Sorry,
like it.
so
No,
we're
this
going
is
back
very
to
good.
so if Shark doesn't tag, he's out of the midfield.
Only this week he doesn't tag.
But I'm talking about this week. Shark, Kolodziejny and Henry they can't all play. Only 2 of them play, which is your point.
Yes.
Because in the defensive mix, there's got about 8 of them.
Yes.
So that's why Henry as a swingman has been nice, but when everyone's back, you got to make a call on Kolodziejny, Henry.
Who's really creating and running and hitting that beautiful little kick-off halfback for the Cats in different ways? So Saad does it for Carlton through run. Caleb Daniel does it for the Bulldogs through ball use.
Why is Jordan Clark starting in the forward line?
I don't know.
He in his first year played a bit of halfback and ran a lot, didn't he?
I
miss something there?
I would assume it would be because of perhaps defensive capabilities right now. Of course.
I mean, that's not his job, though. Do you reckon Sard man's up? He does a better job than maybe Jordan Clark does, but I don't think he pays a lot of attention to his
and the best ones don't.
Correct.
Because you give a little bit in their defensive capabilities to get weapons off halfback.
Well,
do we need to do that more?
Well, we've got Atkins there. We've liked that move. Tom Stewart, obviously. They get plenty of the ball. But, yeah, throw leg speed, throw Clark back. I was a bit bemused at him being he's not a half forward. That's a tough gig for a young player with leg speed to try and find the ball in half forward.
Tom Stewart's the most creative back line player, but he's also their intercept marker. So
yeah, he's not a springboard man.
So you almost want him intercept marking and being having elements of creativity, but then somebody else who, again, I say it doesn't need to just be that blistering Dave Wojcinski style, get the ball and just run. It can be Caleb Daniel style, who just cuts them up with
little
brilliant ball use. Well,
yeah.
but it still opens everything up, and it's creating, and he's there to.
He takes on the centre and kick.
Yes, he does.
And
use
he
the corridor.
delivers.
You love it when we're pumping up the Bulldogs, don't you?
It's just they might not lose a game, so it's the irrelevant conversation.
Air Norton goes okay.
I told you that 3 years ago.
Oh, I told you that 3 years ago. You thought he was a defender. We got to take a break.
I think we've figured out the team. There should be 4 or 5 changes, people. That's our theory on life. Maybe not Jeremy Cameron, though.
No.
But
Maybe.
You never know.
Well, we're just for everyone, we are watching training right now. We're up in one of the radio boxes. We are very privileged with our positioning for the podcast. We are watching them go through their paces. We are keeping an extremely close eye on Jeremy Cameron and how he's training, how much work he's doing. So I'm not totally sold he's not playing, but I would err on the side of not playing this
you're
week,
a
but playing
cautious
against West
man,
Coast.
So
Just because of the double hammy. 2 hammies in a back-to-back.
Yeah, but playing the bottom side, lay up, get him feeling good about life, kicking 8. I'm a bit of that.
Footy's not that simple, Scotty.
It is, Cameron.
No, it's not.
I'm here to tell you it is.
Let's take a break. Back in a sec.
For all your new season Cats gear, hats, hoodies, you name it. Get down to the Cats shop at GMHBA Stadium today or visit thecatshoponline.com.au. The Cats shop is your one-stop shop for everything you need to support the greatest team of all. Go Cats!
Welcome back. It is great to have you with us on To the Final Bell. Scotty, we're still searching for a sponsor for the podcast. Is it me or is it you? Or is it the fact Stokesy's not here?
I think Stacey not here is a problem, probably followed by me and then maybe you. I mean, you own half of Geelong. What about your dodgy mates in pubs and nightclubs that you've spent millions of dollars over? Why can't we get one of them in?
None of what you say
like
is
the
true.
Edge.
I'm no longer
Well,
a
just go
business
back
partner.
to them and say, out of respect for what I built here, come and the podcast thanks to the Edge. We'll go and do it live from the bar if we have to.
I'm sure there'll be sponsors out there knocking down the door with some of the stuff that we talk about. Let's get to the questions from the listeners, what people want to talk about. I want to talk a little bit of VFL too.
Well, it's happening
Round
finally.
1, yeah. It's weird being
You've got to
round 5 of the
explain this
AFL.
to me. There's a lot you need to, because isn't there some weird competition where they play all over Australia?
We'll get to that in a sec. Let's get to the questions first, though. Appreciate our listeners who send their questions in. We're going to try and get to as many as we can throughout the season. First one's from Dan Fenno. Do you think... Ooh, this is a shot at the main man. Do you think the only chink in Wells's armour is our struggle to find or keep good ruckmen?
Oh, that's blasphemy.
But
No, well,
there's something.
no, wait. I'm his greatest defender. He traded to get Otto Lotto, who became the greatest ruckman that ever happened.
Since Polyfarmer.
He found the sausage eater, who was fatter than me, couldn't get out of his way, brought him here, out of Bunyip, and Sydney came in and offered him $8 million. Not Wellesley's fault.
Well, there was a little mistake where money should have been, a little bit more should have been allocated to him to lock him away earlier versus where they allocated
but
to
that could be
another
list
ruckman.
Management rather than Stephen is involved in both.
Yes, yeah, that was... Shane Mumford would have been the heir to the Otten's throne.
Correct.
And we would have had continuity. Since the great man has retired, Bradley...
There's been some issues.
There has. And Hamish McIntosh didn't work.
Reece Stanley's come in and has manfully held it.
Played some solid games.
But has had injury issues on the way. He's found a couple of locals who have had a crack. And Ryan Abbott didn't work. But
I did see he's on the
he's
VFL
back on the
list.
VFL list.
We'll get to that.
Darcy Ford. So yeah, I agree. I mean, generally the way is to cherry pick. I think there's a guy in Fremantle that Stephen is eyeing off.
The one who delivered a little expletive-laden spray on the
Sean
weekend.
Darcy being a local lad, it ticks all the boxes to bring him back, and they've got another guy in there, so that would make a sense. He's a Mumford type, big unit. He would work well in the hoops, I think.
Okay.
But it's a fair observation. The last 10 years,
It is
the
very...
ruck's been a problem.
Throw in De Koning, who I think
They did
eyeing
throw him
off.
in on the practice match I saw, and the
Yes.
poor kid nearly got broken in half.
But that's the trouble with drafting at 18 or 19, a ruckman.
Yeah, of course. Although
Is that they take a long
Premiers
time
have
to
done
develop.
that very well. Tim English, draft him high, nurture him, and now he's the dominant big man in the competition.
They've also supported him with
Correct.
Stephen Martin very cleverly.
So, Josh Jenkins was brought in. That didn't work.
Sav's the man.
Sav's the man.
I'm
even
declaring him.
Okay. But that's a fair observation. I won't use the word criticism because Stephen will never get criticised.
No. Nat Walsh asks, got a few more questions
flurry.
here. Nat Walsh has
flurry.
asked, thoughts on our current defence stats and how teams are often intercepting easily.
Who
we touched
raised
on
that?
that a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
Thank
Nat.
you, Nat.
Harold is gone.
I think that the overall way we're playing isn't helping our defence.
You're very kind to them. And I think what happened last year, Harold was there. Hendo had a season out of the box to resurrect himself. Outstanding. Is he playing at the same level? Maybe not. And then Atkins has gone in. There's a few, and then they're playing around with O'Connor out now on the ball. So there's a few different parts to
I
it.
agree. But I will say when the ball lives in that half of the ground, through the slower ball movement, the cautious ball movement, and it keeps coming back in, I've seen even the greatest defenders in the world get reactive and get beaten because...
Do you think Matthew Scarlett would be an angry man at the moment with anyone else in this place? Would he be expressing himself?
Matthew often suggested the midfielders needed to do more. Sometimes he was right, though.
Imagine if they said, we're mixing up, you're now a midfield coach for next season.
At some stage, though, in
He's gonna have
Matthew's
to do this.
development,
Yeah, I know.
he'll do forwards and he'll do mids before he becomes a senior coach. That will be delightful.
That would be the funniest thing of all time.
Imagine Scully dealing with the prima donna midfielders and forwards.
There'd be a lot of rotations out of the team.
Akura Bruce. Sorry if I've said that wrong, Bruce. What's the hardest part of staying in routine and how do you stay motivated? I think you just develop one over time. I think bit by bit you create as relaxed a routine as you can have throughout the week.
Footballers crave routine, don't they? I know there's a grind period in season, but you get excited about getting into the routine.
Yeah.
Is that a fair call?
And even within that routine, your routine is to make yourself think you're not in a routine sometimes because you want to relax. You want to get away. You want to clear your mind, but that's actually been built into part of your routine. So you're not
Yes,
fully doing
I
it.
know what you mean.
It's still there in the back of your mind. You're going, I know why I'm doing this, and it's going to help me.
But there comes a point, June, July, where you got to do different stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
There's a grind period.
But there's also a grind period that you just got to suck up and deal with.
Yeah.
You're sore. It's freezing cold. It's hard. Finals are still a long way away. I feel like forever away. That's just the time where you steel yourself and go, this 6 weeks is going to be hard. Let's just do it. That's it. It's got to come from within, both the routine and that motivation. Jack Timmons asks, are the boys in any danger of celebrating a goal properly?
Oh.
Jack.
Are we not doing
know.
aren't we doing a bit of Xavier Dersma, bow and arrow?
Do
we want a bit more
Does
of that?
Jack want more celebration or maybe a little less? Get back to the middle and...
No, I think he might want more. I can't think.
little
Are we
bit more.
not as excited about each other's scoring as other teams?
I don't know. I didn't notice it.
Well, they were behind most of the day, so any goal was sort of just, come on, hurry up and get another one.
Yeah. Jack, I'll keep an eye on it. This week, I'm going to watch what happens, Jack. And if
Isaac Smith did a good celebration the other week. Yeah, I think
if
we
they
can
get
lift-
around each other a bit more, Jack, this weekend, we'll be happy. But we'll watch that one for
Monitor.
you.
Yeah,
It's a monitor. Okay, Ruby Sky asks, what are your hopes for Max Holmes?
Well, I have grand hopes.
both. You did the story on him early days because of
Found
your
him 'cause of
athletics
his mum,
coverage.
who I'm very close to.
Lee Naylor, Olympic,
400 metre representative.
yes, and Commonwealth gold medalist.
Relay, correct.
So Max has certainly inherited her running ability. He's an excellent runner, gets across the ground well. We were both surprised he didn't play on the weekend.
You're
Was the
claiming he
medical
was
sub.
sore, so he became a sub, which
I'm simply throwing up suggestions,
Well,
Scotty, as to why he
I-
might not have.
flat batted that out. So what? He's got a 7-day break. Is that enough for him to freshen up now after sitting on his backside for a whole game?
We hold very high hopes for Max.
Look, he has leg speed, skill. You were happy with his poise in his
Yep.
first game. So this team needs legs
Australian
Speed.
cricket team needs a leg spinner.
and skill. So he ticks a lot of boxes. He's a
Yes.
nice size too.
Yeah, and some of that young talent coming through is going to be important because one day the great man Joel will not be there, and Paddy and Tom.
He's
all
got
that.
something this
We need
team
it coming
needs.
through. So yes, high hopes. He'll play this week. Or did we? No, you didn't have him coming
I
in.
did.
No, you didn't. You dropped 4, and you dropped Guthrie,
Guthrie,
Dalhouse,
Narkle, Delhouse, Stanley,
and you didn't have Holmes. You say you still got him as the medical sub.
and maybe rest Menengola. Oh, he had 1
He
week.
had 1
He might
week
not come
back.
up after a 7-day break.
His body is older, more
He
conditioned.
might not. On your theory, he might not come back up.
Oh.
He might be sore.
Talk to me about the VFL. So the VFL
yes.
starts this week.
Well-
For those who didn't know, it's the new competition, the Eastern Seaboard competition. So
Can
it's
you
not.
explain that to me?
It's called the VFL, the Victorian Football League, even though it involves New South Wales, Queensland, and I think is it Tassie as well? Maybe. Don't
No,
quote me
I
on
don't
that
think
one.
Tassie's
No, not
gonna
Tassie
go.
as well. There's multiple teams playing. Not everyone's going to play everyone in this competition.
Oh, really?
Well, they can't. There's like 24 teams, isn't there?
Oh, so teams from the other side of the country are in the same comp.
No, not the Waffle and
Oh,
the
okay.
Sandful.
There's 24 teams.
Oh no, I don't know. I'm making that number.
I know
up.
we're
But
making it.
there's a lot
It's
of
weird.
There's a lot of teams, and it hasn't started until round 5 of the AFL, which I find strange. But maybe that's just to get it rolling, and there's been a bit to work out amongst this current COVID situation.
We'll accept
It
that.
starts for the Cats
Finally.
this Sunday. I believe it's a curtain raiser. It is against North Melbourne on Sunday. The Cats playing at 4:40 against the Kangaroos. The VFL is playing against the Kangaroos at GMHBA Stadium. So I'm going to go, it's a curtain raiser. And then there's the lap with Harry and Gaz.
Okay, yep.
And then the AFL game starts. Can I give you some names of players who
I
have
wanna
signed
know-
on as those VFL listed mature players to support some of the
Yes.
young players on the AFL list? Ryan Abbott
Back from St Kilda.
had a year at the Saints and is now back here.
Shortly, he's a chance to get another gig, you think?
Well, he might put his hand up. Is there still the mid-season draft?
Yeah, of course there
Okay.
is.
Aaron Black, North Melbourne, had a year or two with the Cats.
He played last year here
Yep.
too. He's
Darcy Lang, Colac boy.
former Colac great.
Yes, to the Cats as a first-round draft pick, then obviously to the Blues, now back
Chiseled
at
out.
Geelong.
He's played for a few years.
Jackson Thurlow,
Oh,
another first-round draft pick at the Cats, did his knee, then went up to the Sydney
was
Swans.
always a surprise he didn't make it for me. He seemed to have enough tools.
Yeah, Boyes probably just got him in the end.
It's
But
disappointing.
so there's some good, mature players playing
that's
with
exciting.
the young Cats.
Familiar faces.
Who's going to put their hand up from the real young group in that VFL now
Well,
that they're
we-
playing proper games?
We want to see Cooper Stevens. We want to see Billy Brown's Oscar. I mean, he's been injured. Like, they're the sort of guys who have been here one or two. I know last year was a weird year. But
Nathan Kruger,
what about Stefan
Ockenball.
They're excited about him.
Yeah, remember we had Troy Selwood in here
Yeah, he
though
was like-
2 years ago, and he said Nathan Kruger.
Yeah. Yeah,
Was
he's
the
a
man.
leading forward.
Forward could play as a key defender. He's got both tools.
1 p.m. we're starting.
Thank you, Scotty. I'm glad you did the research.
And then, wait for it, round 2, we'll have a bye.
Oh, okay. See, you get sore after one game. You need a week off.
Sydney are in it. Brisbane Lions are in it. Yeah, there's a lot of action. They don't play a lot of games. It's only 19 rounds and there's 3 byes.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. There's an update for
The
you.
new VFL. Come along and watch them play. Come
1
along
o'clock.
and watch some of these young guys. Let's see if maybe an Oscar Brownless or a Cooper. I think Cooper Stevens still injured. at the
Yeah, I know.
moment,
I think
though.
they're both still injured. But they're the sort of names, ones who have been lingering around the list, like you mentioned.
Brad Close.
Freddie Kruger.
Brad Close was able to come straight in and have an impact, which
Absolutely.
was great to see. I want to see Nathan Kruger. Maybe it's not going to happen now that Rowan will arrive back and then Jeremy Cameron possibly this week, but maybe the week after.
Again, you've got to start rewarding these blokes if they start lighting it up.
Yes, Chuka, couldn't get him a game on the weekend. I tried my hardest.
What happened to our 3-week commitment when Danger was out?
Yeah.
Did that message not get downstairs?
Well, see, we had a commitment from you and I. We just didn't have it from the entire match committee, which might have cost us.
But I thought he played well enough on week 1 of the commitment to get a secondary commitment.
Yeah, okay. Watching a bit more of training here, I think Jack Henry's still training as a forward. Reece Stanley drifting forward. Josh Jenkins has just popped into a little bit of space. Nice cut off by the defensive group. Gary Rowan picks up. Handball to Cam Guthrie. Guthers will nail this, Scotty.
He doesn't miss
There we
many,
go.
Guthrie.
That looked nice from Cam
He
Guthrie.
continues to lead this team well.
The boys are still going through their paces. We're done with going through our paces.
That was some great commentary.
Scotty's dropped half the team and still wants to find a spot for Maxi Holmes. So I'm not sure that message will get
I
down to
think
Chris Scott.
There needs to be magnets moving.
Just settle.
No, you conservative. Settle. Enough.
Two
The
and
punters
two.
are with me.
2 wins, 2 losses. Not playing great football.
Well, let's try and start playing good football.
Yeah, get a win this week. Get some players back.
That's going to happen with anyone running out there.
You-
Don't fall into we'll give confidence boost to
AFL
players who underperform.
AFL football is a hard game no matter who you're playing against. Yes, they should beat and will beat North Melbourne
Thank
this
you.
week.
That's all I wanted to say.
But you don't just rock up and just win.
Well,
A
they
lot
did
goes
lose to
into it.
Adelaide,
Yes.
which I thought was impossible.
Thank you, Scotland. Thank you for your time today.
Pleasure.
Continue to. You should see him. He's walking around with the biggest smile on his face. The Bulldogs are premiership
that's-
certainties, according to Scotty Gallen.
Well, you heard it here first. That's all.
Thank you for your time. We'll get you back next week.
Good luck on the golf range, Cameron.
It went for a hit. It was ugly. It was real ugly. I'm not a great player, but at least I'm not an awkward left-hander like you.
Awkward. I've never
thought
been
left-
called awkward.
I thought left-handers were supposed to be graceful, like David Gower style. And
I've got like a Bubba Watson type, very quick wind up.
beautiful left-hand batsmen and golfers. Supposed to be graceful.
Brutal. I attack the ball. Okay, we've drifted off.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll be
going
back
now.
next week. Keep your questions coming in. Hopefully, we're celebrating a Cats win on Sunday, 4:40. So get there early.
Oh, yes.
Curtain raiser on
1
in the
p.m.
VFL, 1 p.m. And Gaz and Harry doing a lap. Come along and show your appreciation because I know those two would love to say thank you and appreciate all your support over the many, many years that they played at the Cats. Enjoy the weekend. We will be back next week.